Welcome back to the channel. I'm LJ, and today I thought I would play with these flowers that are supposed to be wildflowers, these dies, and I've wanted to play with them for a really long time. Can't wait to give it a shot, and I hope you'll join me while we put some color on them and maybe even make a card out of them when we're finished. We'll have to see how that goes. It's coming up next. Okay, so there are 6 dies in here, and what I thought we would do was run them through the die cutting machine. I have a Big Shot, so that's what I used. I think they go through pretty much any kind. I could have even put them through my little Sidekick. It would have just taken more passes. So I went with the Big Shot. And I don't really care if everything didn't come out, because sometimes when it stays together, it makes it look really cool with the watercolor. At least that's what I'm hoping for today. So I'm really excited to get some of these and be able to put a few of them on a card together and see how they come out. One of the things I like is that people are embracing the idea that we're card makers, and therefore flowers don't have to be realistic looking. They can be fun looking. I remember a couple of years ago, maybe longer now, I made what I thought was a pretty fun looking card. It came from a stamp. I don't know what it was supposed to be exactly. I thought it was fun though. It was an unusual looking flower. I have no idea what color it was, but I made it the color I wanted it. And I got a lot of, well, what kind of flower is that supposed to be, from people who saw it. And I thought, well, it's just a flower. It's just any old flower. It's the flower I made up, you know. I can make it whatever color I want. But then I kind of felt a little self-conscious about it. But I see people online are embracing, you know, famous people are embracing it, which means the others will come later after the famous people say it's okay. Sometimes that's how it works. But I'm pretty excited to try this method out. So for this method, one of the things you need is water. And I have a brush here. I want to try it with a regular brush to put some water on, and then add some color. But then I want to do it the other way, where I actually take and color it a little bit and then swish it around. So I think I'm going to try both ways. I'm going to try some. I've got a couple of each, so I'm going to try some each way and see how it goes. I have no actual plan. I'm just going to go with whatever I feel like. So I might start with some of these green ones, just because I think that might be a good place to start. I'm not sure if it is or not. I guess we'll find out. So I thought we'd do this. By the way, I did use watercolor paper. And what I wanted to do was put some water on here. Just putting it on rather liberally. Not, since it's watercolor paper, actually, now that I think about it, most of it's watercolor paper. I think there were a couple that were not. I'm pretty sure this one in my hand is. It's pretty thick. I think I did 2 to begin with that were not. All right, so now several ways we could try this. Let's try with a lighter color to start. So I'm going to start with this Twisted Citron, and I'm going to try this way and just see what happens. If it looks like it's does look like it's covering pretty good. Get a lot of pigment when you do it this way. That's for sure. I never used to do it this way at all. I always would have put it on first the other way. I want to get this stem done. All right, so what I think though is that needs to, I don't think that shows a lot of watercolor, like just like that, but I think if we add the other color, That's what's going to make it move, and then you're going to see it better. But I don't know that that's a big enough a big enough surface to even do that. I noticed this is what happened last time. I got a lot on my finger. I noticed that was an issue. What do I do here? I know what I want to do. I want to just put some right in here. But I'm not seeing it show up as good. I think it shows up better if you're taking it off of here and putting it on. I'm not sure if it's showing up nearly as well as I thought it would. This green here is, what is this one again? Is this mowed lawn? No, peeled paint. Maybe peeled paint just isn't dark enough of a difference. Let me try either mowed lawn, or I don't want to go dark. If I go all the way to, here's mowed lawn. If I go all the way to, well, should be Lucky Clover somewhere in there. Yeah, that's better. Maybe that was just too close of a color to Twisted Citron for it to show up. Yeah, that's what I wanted. All right, much better. All right. There's one little green guy that looks pretty fun. All right, let me, now I'm worried my water over here is getting, I don't think you can see my water, it's getting all, but let's try a different color. All right, for this one, I want to try something that's going to move in here. So what I want to do is take this and really put it on thick. Lay it on thick, you know, like you're trying to schmooze somebody. All right, now I think it's laid on about as thick as I can put it. And let's put some, oh yeah, look at that. That's got some movement to it. Yeah, I like that. In fact, what I want to do is keep it coming like that, and then let's go into a yellow on the outside. Is this lemonade? Squeezed lemonade, yes it is. All right, we'll put this at the very end, and hopefully that will really blend into the, what did I have, what did I have here? Oh, ripe persimmon. That's interesting because that is not a color I have in ink. So that's interesting that I chose that. I know how the slippery slope goes. It's fun to play with colors you don't have in ink and see if you like them. When I was looking at oranges, I remember thinking, which one do I want? I think I ended up getting carved pumpkin for my real orange as opposed to the ripe persimmons. But now that I chose it out of all the colors, no, I'm not, probably not getting it. I have enough of it right here if I need it, I think. I don't know. We'll see. There's another problem. If you do get it too wet, huh? If it just sits in the water like that, maybe I should put a paper underneath it. I see people doing that. Maybe that's the reason why, just so it doesn't get too, let me use a piece of, could use a piece of paper underneath it, a little piece of paper that, now this needs to be green, you know, a green stem, and I just wiped away my color because it was turning green. That was bad planning on my part. All right, I think I'm going to go with, the peeled paint first, and then the mowed lawn. I like that one over here with the mowed lawn. So let's try that. See how that looks with the leaves. So yeah, a lot of people say, you know, wet the paper first and let watercolor, like if you're doing regular watercolor painting, you wet it first and then you just go. Well, you can't really like put this into there. I'm used to doing it this differently. When I normally would use the watercolor, like if it's for an image, I color it almost like you color with a marker or something. Only I make the outside much darker and then I drag it in, you know, into the lighter part. You drag it by adding water. So it's way different than this. This is not what I'm used to at all. This is very different for me. And it's just because I saw people doing this and I thought, well, maybe I should try it. And now I know why they're doing it. But I do like the other way, the way I've always done it for like images. If I want to make a balloon, you know, you go around the outside real dark and then you go and you drag it into the middle. And I like the way that looks. And that's my furnace. Apparently it is cold. So I'm going to put some of this dark on here and see how this works. Come on. I like the way it moves. That's fun. Definitely different than, you know, my experience has been. It's kind of fun to play with something a little bit different. I am enjoying the pencils a lot, the watercolor pencils a lot, but I like the crayons, I like the pencils, I like the inks. I like all the toys in the toy box. I just take turns with them, and sometimes it's like, oh, this will be more fun. Not that it's, you know, it's just whatever you feel like. It's kind of like you don't want steak every day, do you? Having different tools to use. And I do consider any of these like tools, because these are the things that make things in your craft room. It's not like a book where you can cut out the pictures. To me, that's reusing, and that's good too. I like doing that too. You see the trend here? It's kind of not a lot I don't like, but when it comes to, I like things that make my own. My problem is I'll buy pattern paper and then I'll turn around and get kind of frustrated because I want to make my own. I don't want to use the patterns they have, even though they're beautiful, because then I make a card with it and I feel like, oh, I didn't make that card. I only really added to that, you know, what was already there. And sometimes that's fun to do, but it's not how I like to make a card. If I make a card, I want to start with white paper and do all the pieces to it, because there's something about then it being mine and not, you know, just kind of mine. I don't know if I'm making any sense. I'm just rambling on while I'm playing here. So I don't know. These look like they're all kind of green. I don't think these should be different colors, but you know what? I saw someone do this with purple. Not this exactly, but they made their flowers that looked like leaves, like purple leaves. And I thought, the next time I get a chance, I'm going to do that. So I think this is that next chance. Because, again, why do they have to always be green? I mean, you know, nature has all kinds of wildflowers, and I'm going to make them the different colors so they look colorful. And I mean, maybe the stems don't need to be purple, but I'm just thinking about how much fun this will look in a grouping. if it has more colors than just green, because there's a lot of green going on. Usually when you make any kind of flowery thing, there's just so much green, and I understand there's a lot of green in nature, but if you have a chance, why not make it be more colorful? No one says it has to look realistic. And besides that, it's mine. I can do what I want, right? And this is just playing. This is too much fun for me. This looks blue. It's not the one I'm looking for. What is this? This one was Wilted Violet. Oh, Wilted Violet is rather light in the purple family for me. Blueprint Sketches, obviously blue. What is this? Shaded Lilac. Oh, I was thinking Shaded Lilac, I think. Let's give Shaded Lilac a try. It looks blue. Oh, I think this is the one Tim was saying on his video, on his YouTube the other day, that nobody thinks this should be, it doesn't look like, Shaded Lilac doesn't look like it should be purple at all. It looks like it should be blue if you look at the pencil, and yet it comes out looking purple. So you got to kind of just trust the name on it. Yeah, because he's right. I looked at it and thought, that's not purple, that's blue. So obviously this is some of the fun stuff. Yeah, if you've got something to play with, whether it's even a set from, like from the dollar store or something, where you can just take out and wet them and play with them and get them to move a little bit. And you've got any kind of dies at all. You don't have to have these. You don't have to, have the latest, greatest, whatever. This is just fun. I could do this with anything I have. Do I want to have sometimes. It's nice to get new stuff in your collection just so that you can, feel inspired in a little bit, but you don't need it for sure. And if you have, if you have older supplies and you want to make the same kind of thing, just get out your dies and run them through with some. And I don't have, the best. I go to a secondhand store and I've gotten a little bit probably better watercolor paper, and then I don't use it because I'm saving it for I don't know what, because it's so nice. I got a little bit better watercolor paper from the one store that does like a recycle store, and I don't use it because because in my mind it's too nice. I'm like, oh, I'll save that for whatever. I'm going to be saving it forever because I'll never use it. And then what was the point in having it? And I keep trying to tell myself that I've gotten pretty good about it when it comes to paper, because I know people become paper hoarders, and I'm trying not to become a paper hoarder. So I will take out the paper and take the absolute favorite one out of the bunch and use it, and I'm okay with that, knowing that you might not be able to get this again. I say that and I'm totally lying about my Tim Holtz one, that 12 by 12 that he doesn't make anymore. There's a couple of sheets in there, and I did use one of them, but I used it in something in my own house, so it wasn't like I used it to give away. I used it for my own. Actually, I used it to cover my box for my crayons. I needed a new, for my Tim Holtz Distress crayons, I needed a new box, and I'm not getting any more, so I know how exactly the size, and it just fits, so I made one just to fit it, and I really like it a lot. But I did that, using one of the ones that I really liked, because I wanted to make sure I used it for for me, so I get to enjoy it rather than, you know, giving it away and never seeing it again. But I do try to use, like I said, I think I'm pretty good at paper. Paper I'm pretty good at. I do hoard other things, but not as much with like pattern paper. I know a lot of people hoard pattern paper. I like making my own pattern paper. I'm not saying I haven't bought any. I'm saying I like to. That's, you know, and I've bought some that go with embellishments and stuff, and I'll have to bring some out and play with them. I want to make a journal using some of them, you know, so you have kind of a cohesiveness about them. And that's what I'm looking to do with those. How about some blue? Let's not do tumbled glass. Let's do, what is this? Salvage patina. Looking a little darker than that. It's funny how they look. It's just like, that's what I was thinking in my head, but I didn't want to say it and be wrong. Oh, there's pine needles. Yes, that's lucky clover. It doesn't look as green as I think it should be. That's funny. All right, prize ribbon is super blue. I think we're going to go prize ribbon with some, oh, Cracked Pistachio is green, more green than blue than what I want. Here, this is what I want, peacock feathers. Yep, that's what I wanted. It's funny how nice it is when you have a line of things that you know what the color is supposed to look like. I guess that's part of the attraction of why people, you know, like the Distress line or anybody's, you know, I watch a lot of Gina K, and I know the colors of hers. I don't have just I have 6 mini ink pads that came in things I bought, basically, in a kit thing that she was selling. And I have 6. That's it. 6 mini ones. I don't have any large ones of hers at all. But yet I know what her colors are. A lot of them just from listening to her talk about them, you know, the color names. Hers all have food names, mostly. A lot of them, not all of them, but a lot of them have food names. But I could probably pick out a lot of hers, or look at the color and say, oh, that looks like, you know, sea glass, which is not a food name, so it kind of just went against what I just said. But she does have a lot of them. She has, you know, asparagus and different food names. It's kind of fun that way. So I like this. This is fun. This is so much fun. And it's exactly what you need when you want to think about de-stressing and kind of lightening up. I do want another color in that green, though. And you know what I found, too? So see how that moved and then it kind of mixed in? I like that. I like when it does that. Oh, by the way, I got this cool little container at a thrift store. And yes, I went looking for a container for this reason. It wasn't an accident. But it was an accident that it was there because I really like it. I don't know if you can see it or not. It's like 6-sided and it looks substantial, but I got the sharpener in the middle to kind of help hold them up. And I think it's got a lot of room in it. I really like it a lot. I'm very happy with it. As far as I've got a lot of room to play with it, but yet it holds them all pretty well and they all stand up. They're not falling down. I like that a lot. And my dog wants me now to go to bed, which is interesting because he also wants me to get up in the morning. He wants to run my life pretty much. And it gets to sometimes it's ridiculously early. It's, you know, still early yet. I don't normally go to bed this early. So the fact that he's wanting me to go to bed is kind of funny. But in the morning, he'll want me to get up before I'm ready. I don't know how he and I got on 2 separate schedules since he's almost 14 years old. He's been around me for a long time. And he's dictated when I've gotten up for his almost entire life. I got him, he was a little 5-pound little puppy dog. And now he's a 14-year-old. We call him a cranky old man a lot. But, you know, in dog years, that's pretty old, so I love him so much. He's a good boy. For the most part. He has his moments, but don't we all? I'm sure he says the same thing about me to his friends. I like that one too. I'm really having fun with this. I don't know. Gotta be careful not to lay these in the water. I see that's a problem. Good news is all of this comes right off. And if you saw my last video where I made a terrible mess on my board and did not clean it up apparently in between. I put everything away and got... Okay, as you can see, I went on and on and on painting and having just the best time coloring these flowers with the watercolor pencils. I'm telling you, I had so much fun. But look I made 3 little gatherings here that I want to use to make cards, and I really like the way the colors are, and I'm so glad I didn't use all green. You see how this one has quite a bit of green right in here, but that's okay, because here's what I want to do. I have this little guy, don't know where I got him from. Apparently he's Sizzix. Huh, didn't even know that. But I cut out these little banners. And then I cut out from here, and you'll see this is a very well-loved little stamp set from scrapbook.com. It's one of the ones they give you free, and you can tell I wore off the ink on here with using it so much, because when I first got it, I got it, you know, when I was first starting stamping, and it was probably one of the first freebies I got, and I used it all the time because it was one of the only sentiments I had at the, you know, very beginning. I didn't use the hello that much, so I'm surprised that one wore off. But these up here, I just used a lot. But right now, when I was looking through and trying to find stamps that would work on this little banner, this is what I found. So my idea is to put this over it on the card like that. And then I thought, hey, you know what would be fun? Let's make a bigger card so we can put them on there and use the oval. And so here I've got 3 different plans going for 3 different cards because I got 3 bunches of flowers. I have this one. Look at the texture in there. That's kind of cool going through it. Then I've got this one, and these are all the bases I have with the... If you can see that or not, I have to make sure you can see the last one. It might have been too close. I have a hard time with this sometimes. So this one, and then this one, and then this one, so that we can have a variety. And I had them picked out for which way they go and then which one these go on, and I hope I can remember. So what I'm going to do is move these up a little bit while I stamp, and I'm hoping stamping on this is going to be okay. I'm a little concerned about the give on this little guy. So what I did, these smaller stamps, if they're smaller and they're made out of good material, you can bend them a little bit. And what you do is you bend them to kind of fit your die if you've got one that turns like this a little bit. Now this is, I'm setting myself up to fail here because this was the last one, and it was the hardest one to bend. So I'm going to be happy if it comes out kind of okay. We'll see how it comes out. If I don't like it, we can always make it straight and do something else. That's not a problem. The problem I'm having right now is reaching my my ink. And I'm hoping that these should stamp pretty good. I might have to be quiet for a second so I can get them on here. So I'm hoping this will come out okay. And if not, you know, we do another one, that's all. It's not the end of the world. It's just paper. And I'm pretty happy with that. I think that'll work just fine. Okay, so let's try this next one here. So that's sending hugs. The next one says happy birthday. Now this one with the black, I'm a little concerned with black if it's going to come out very well. And what I've decided is if it doesn't come out very well, I can try stamping over it in white or even trying to do something else. I'm not sure. We'll just see how it goes. If it's not dark enough, and it might not be dark enough, again, we'll just do something else. That's pretty good. I'm not unhappy with that. And then we'll do one more. Remember the key, oh, I shouldn't have taken that off, should I? The key to stamping is to make sure you have even pressure. I say that and watch, this one will be awful. Even pressure, make sure you give the ink time to transfer, and most of all, set your expectations low so you're not disappointed. That's my keys for stamping. Yep. I might have talked a little too soon because this one I remember now. The bottom, this is going to be way off. Way off. But that's okay. Yeah. Because the lower cases, I knew that as soon as I did it, I was like, that's not going to be good. So we're going to do another one of those. And it just needs to be moved up some for the lowercase. I knew it was off. I was looking at the bottom of it and not at the ones that dropped, but that's okay because that'll only take a minute or two to do. But we're gonna move on. All right, well, here's the final projects. I made 3 cards out of the wonderful, just so much fun with these wildflowers and using the watercolor pencils to color them. I am just loving this. I will be making more of these because they were just so much fun to make. I can't wait to do some more of them. I added some gems. I put it across the little banner. I cut all these out ahead of time. I made little bunches out of the flowers, and I couldn't be happier with the outcome. Let me know which one you like the best. The purple one, the brown one, or the Uncharted Mariner, actually, is what the color looks like to me. That's what I used to go around the outside of it. But I hope you enjoyed watching me make some cards and playing with the wildflowers along with Tim Holtz's watercolor pencils. It was so much fun, and I hope you'll join me again. Keep crafting!